Grand day, everyone. This is your host, Paul Lawrence Van, and we welcome you to another episode of Wealth Academy Podcast. And we're going to have a great time today because we have a phenomenal guest on by the name of Julie Duncan. I want to give a shout out to her right now, and I'll go into her bio, and we're going to learn so much during this time. Julie, how are you doing today, my friend?
Oh my gosh, I'm doing fantastic. And to be amongst yourself and the listeners, I couldn't be more excited.
Outstanding, outstanding. We're glad to have you here today. But before we get started, what I want you all to do is contact your family, friends, your colleagues, and let them know that we're broadcasting live right now. And we would really love to have you here. And if you have any questions, just simply post them either on Facebook or LinkedIn, and we'll be able to see what you're really interested in asking right now. And we really appreciate you being here today. But let's get started. Today's guest is Julie Duncan. She's a certified executive coach and a beacon of transformation. She's based out of Winchester, Virginia. She has 30 years career caring for others. And she leads her own coaching firm, has done that over the years. She's also co-author of the inspiring book, The Comeback, alongside motivational icon Les Brown. And we'll get more to her other books in addition to that. Now, Julie, welcome to the show, and let's jump into your journey of healing, purpose, and resilience. Could you share your personal journey from being told you weren't college material to earning your master's and coaching clients today?
I would love to, Paul. Thank you. So to quote the infamous Les Brown, he says, you need to be hungry. And He's not talking about hungry for your next meal. I was hungry. I swear I was born hungry, and it wasn't for my bottle. I always felt as if I was made for more, meant for more. So you can imagine, grew up in a very small town, when my guidance counselor, Mr. King, I will never forget his name, said to me, you are not college material. I knew I had to dig very deep, and I had to make a huge change in my life. And I had a grandmother. The story's incredible. The short is that she took the train from a very rural area in the 1930s and graduated from Penn State Teachers College, which is now known as what? Penn State University. Right? Yeah. Her mother died when she was 3 years old. Her father raised 7 kids as a rural farmer. Somehow, some way, she figured out how to get to Penn State Teachers College, take the train back and forth, graduated, and taught college. I was hungry. She was my role model. And I knew there was no way that I was not going to go. So what I did, so you know the saying, a journey of 1,000 miles. I stacked the good. I took it one step at a time because I knew the journey was going to be 1,000 miles. Yes. I took it one step at a time and graduated with my bachelor's. Finished one semester, then another. 10 years later, I finished my master's because guess what? If you do one thing over here and you anchor it in, you can do another, and another. And I was hungry. So then I just kept stacking the good. And really, that's how it evolved. And I always say, Paul, I'm not any different than any listener right now. I'm not any different or any better. I just learned resiliency. And I was hungry, and I knew I needed to have more in my life.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. And I've been to the Happy Valley, they call it there at Penn State University. And I was driving through the state with an airman, and we were going to the New England states, and we saw bears on the side of the road. But they have the largest alumni of any college in the United States, Penn State University. Yes, a wonderful school. And for your grandmother, she was just she was hungry, as you stated. Mm-hmm. Yes. And you inherited that from her, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing that. Now, what prompted you to move from counseling and other services, welfare services, into founding your company and now coaching now on the executive level? What was that transformation like for you as you work with Crystel Clear Business strategies?
It really started because I partnered with a nutrition company, and the
Mhm.
products completely changed my life and changed my whole family's life. And I was like, I need to be a part of this. But I was brand new to business. I had been an employee up until that point forever, right?
Mhm.
And I got a taste of the business world and I liked it a lot. And then I was also an independent insurance broker. Liked that a lot. It wasn't really my calling because calling is coaching, right? But I
Exactly.
learned a lot in the business world and I really fell in love with betting on myself.
Yes, that's very important. Betting on yourself, that's something that everybody can hold on to because no one knows you better than yourself.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
So when the concept of life coaching was introduced to me, I was like, I need to think about that because I really was already invested in the business world. I believed in it. So I went all in at that point. And that's really how it evolved, excuse me.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Now, I know in the past you had focused in on women between the ages of 45 and 60. What made that demographic close to your heart at the time that you were providing that assistance to them?
It, like many coaches, it was me. I had healed a lot of things in my life that I had dealt with, a lot of limiting beliefs, some past trauma, a lot of shoulds on myself. And when I healed from all that, it was like a whole world opened up and I already had a counseling background. So it just made perfect sense to then turn that around and help other people. Right.
Mhm. That's right.
And so the evolution of executive coaching is very interesting, Paul. I was at a job that just wasn't feeding my soul
Oh,
about 3 years ago. I was in the life coaching space, and then I just really knew that I was meant for more. Again, I was hungry. So I left the job, put my resignation in. A couple days later, I was sitting at a chamber
yes.
meeting. And somebody, excuse me, I just shared with them today. Somebody came up to me and said, do you do executive coaching?
Ah,
And I thought, well, maybe I do.
the
Not,
universe is speaking to you.
and the crazy thing is, I'm thinking in my head, I don't need it anymore. I just got out of my job. I'm going to really build my life coaching, but it was a fire in my belly, and I couldn't move beyond it.
Mhm.
So I looked into executive coaching. I got certified, and then I circled back. I was doing a lot of networking, and I circled back to a dear lady, Crystel Smith, who is oh my gosh, a phenomenal business coaching business
Yeah.
here in Winchester. And I circled back to her, and it was just a networking meeting, and one thing led to another. And yes, the universe speaks to us. Next thing I know, I'm doing executive coaching because she doesn't have an executive coach. Truly honored, truly humbled, but it was really an evolution of listening to my soul, listening to my passion, and then taking action.
Oh, that's great. That's fantastic. And again, as you stated, the universe was talking to you and it spoke loud and clear and you answered the bell. That's what's most important. Because
100%.
sometimes people will hear the universe speaking to them. And what I call it, I said, is if you don't follow up on it, you block your blessing. It's kind of how I explain it to people.
Oh my gosh, I love that speaks to me. I love that.
Fantastic. So let's go back to the books again. Of course, you were in the book with Les Brown, and I want people to learn more about that. So you were with Les. We've all heard Les Brown speak, and he's one of the best that's ever done it and continues to do it to this day. What was that experience like working with him in terms of your contribution to the book itself?
Well, I want to say a few words about Les. You have mentioned him a few times, and if you listen to his story, I couldn't help but have a stir inside my soul. He was born on an abandoned floor in a building. He was adopted. He was called the dumb twin. He flushes this out. You can go on YouTube and listen to his story
Oh,
any day
yeah,
of the week.
I've
He
heard
was
it.
called the dumb twin. And it took him 14 years. All he wanted to do was speak. It took him 14 years to stand on stage. And when he did, he filled the Georgia Dome with 80,000 people. And what was his speech? It's not over until you win.
Yeah, exactly. I've heard that one many times.
Mhm.
I've actually met him several times as well.
My
And
gosh, Paul.
he's just a tremendous man. And he continues to pour into people, speakers and authors, and even more, just still being an asset. And he's in his 80s now. I believe he just turned maybe
Yes,
83, give or take.
it
So
is.
he's been around for a while, but a great book. And let's look at another book here. Thank God It's Monday. Share a little bit about this book here. It looks fascinating.
Oh my gosh. So this book is very focused on helping the readers understand that Monday is a day to embrace, and it's a blank canvas rather than the Sunday scaries and the Monday dread and the manic Monday. I mean, think about all the songs and all the things that go into us
Oh,
hating Monday, like it's been a societal thing, right? Where we don't like Mondays. Think about that. And this book is to help the readers be able to really dig into, what is my mindset on a Monday morning? How am I envisioning it? How am I embracing it? And my chapter is really about how am I embracing it. In fact, I have a Monday manifesto on Crystel Clear Business Strategies that the readers can download for free. And it flushes out things that you can do on Mondays, not only affirmations and mindset that you can have, but also team activities that you can bring into your group on Monday morning and be able to have activities around embracing Monday. It's so important. I remember the Sunday scaries. I remember wishing my life away until Friday. But Monday is a blank canvas. Let's embrace it. Let's love it.
exactly. It establishes the foundation for the rest of the week and
Yes.
leads to the weekend. Yeah,
100%.
I love every day, but Monday, I had no problems with Monday.
Yep. I love that, Paul.
All right, let's transition to a book you and I both know. This one, of course, was Dr. Crystel Taylor. And if you could share about the prescription for career success, elevate your mindset, transform your career, if you could share your contribution to this amazing book. And this, of course, was an Amazon #1 bestseller as well.
This book is very near and dear to my heart for many reasons. One is because I met fabulous people like yourself, Paul.
Uh-huh.
Number two, Dr. Crystel Taylor, who's, she's next level, right, Paul?
She really is.
She has really touched my heart. And the fact that it was my first collaboration that went to Amazon bestseller in 5 different categories.
Exactly.
And it also speaks to something that I always say at a crash course in resiliency at age 17 for a couple different reasons. And that's why that topic is so important to me. And now thinking about it from a coaching standpoint and helping executives, we need to embrace resiliency. We need to anchor it and understand it, because that pushes us and helps us to be able to withstand the hard times. And we're all going to have hard times, right?
Absolutely. They're going to happen one time or another.
Yes. Yes. So if we can anchor in that we are resilient, and all the things that have happened that have helped us build resiliency, then that helps us through all the hard times and the no's that are going to happen along the way in life. So that's a very special chapter and book for me.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. And as you stated, Dr. Taylor, she's very dynamic, a great leader, and has just a wonderful vision, because she brings us in on the different sessions with her. And we may be on a panel discussion or some other aspect, or her interview on her podcast, or it could be through a newsletter. So there are a lot of different avenues in which she touches on, which is great to be a part of. And as you stated, it was a joy to meet you and the other co-authors as a part of that book as well. So just continue to do what you do, Julie, because you're making a tremendous difference. So let's transition just a bit, Julie, and we're going to get into that area of the all-important brain and the aspect that it has, an impact it has on all of our lives. And I know that you really are an expert in this particular area. So I would love to hear you share about the brain function, positivity, negativity, etc.
Okay, I'm not a neuroscientist, so don't worry. I'm going to keep it very simple, and I want to qualify what I'm going to say because I really want to keep it simple and not complex, but it's super important.
Yes.
So those that know me know that mindset, limiting beliefs, helping people push through those, that's been my niche. That is super important to me. My goodness, mindset isn't something that's everything. We hear that all the time, right? Everything.
Yes.
Super important. So if that's been my focus, well, let's take it a notch up, level up, thinking about executive coaching. If I'm going to be working with executives, I surely better know about the brain and how that ties into stress, negative thinking, and chronic patterns that fall into those categories, right? So
Correct.
that's kind of like where my interest came from. And here's some interesting facts. Again, I'm not a neuroscientist. I'll keep it simple. But what I've learned based on research, I don't make this stuff up. I'm not that smart, but chronic negative thinking, chronic stress that leads to burnout, especially when it's persistent and patterned over time, because, right, we have to look at our patterns. The brain structure and function actually changes. Oh my goodness. So when's the last time, Paul, I use you an example, that you thought about, you ready? Your prefrontal cortex, your hippocampus, and your amygdala. When's the last time you thought about that?
All the time.
Oh, okay, wise guy. You're very wise.
Yes, because with life in and of itself, I do a lot of reading, I do a lot of studying, and I know I have to stay active. People ask, well, how do you stay out in front of things given today's current climate? It's very dynamic. The workforce is changing. And so I study it a lot. And I like to put myself in that position. Every morning I wake up, I put in something positive on my Facebook posts and social posts because I know that I'm not the only one who needs it. I need it really bad, but people who are following me need it as well.
100%. I love that. So, quick biology 101. Our amygdala triggers emotional responses, especially fear and stress. Okay, that's responsible for that. Prefrontal cortex is what? That's our decision making, our reasoning, our self control.
That's right.
Hippocampus, stress, this is where stores and retrieves memories, supports learning, and emotional regulation. So think about if we have chronic negative thinking, chronic stress, how those neural pathways and the brain is reshaped. It alters our brain if we live in chronic stress, chronic negativity. I like to say, rather than negative thinking, we need to think correctly, whatever that means for us, right?
Yes. The better decision, the better the results.
Yes. So if we are thinking about leadership, thinking, decision-making, stress management, we need to be thinking about how that's impacting our brain, because it does. It can literally alter the biochemistry, the shape of our brain. And if you really dig deep, you can see some scans where things are altered. People that are chronically depressed, people that are chronically anxious or stressed, you can actually see alterations in the brain, which is really scary.
Absolutely. Yes. And when we take a look at people who are under stress, the brain responds to the stimulus that it receives from an individual, the thoughts, the conversations, the environment, internal and external environment. So we have to do our best to sustain and maintain the best brain that we can. And the brain is real. People don't think of it as being real, but it really is real. So.
Yes. And Paul, it's one of those things that we can't feel or touch. It's easy to just ignore it or think, oh, it doesn't really matter. We think about mindset maybe, but it is directly related to our brain. And the chemicals and the neurotransmitters, and we could go much deeper, which I won't. But all of that, serotonin, dopamine, all of that is impacted by the way that we think, and then it's how we act and how we feel and how we behave. So it's super important that we consider how is our brain reacting to how we're showing up every day, how we're presenting, how we're thinking.
Yes, that's what I try to remind people, that we can control our internal space, how we think, the relationship with our heart, how we're feeling. And the external things is not so much that they're happening, but it's how we respond to them.
100%.
If we have stress, we're going to have high blood pressure. It could lead to more diabetes. So it has the physical impacts as well. And by taking care of the internal aspect of our being, and we can control what's the internal aspect of our life, then it gives us a better chance of living a more holistic life, a well-being. Yes.
Perfect.
So one of the things that, and thank you so much for that, but it's very important in terms of what Julie was saying for our listeners and viewers, that we have to do our best. We have to, it's just like exercising a muscle. The muscle is not going to get bigger unless you break things down. And as you're breaking them down, you're building them up. But it's the same thing for our mind, the mind, body, and spirit, that whole connection, that trinity that's taken place. So we definitely want to follow up on that. So when we look at potential clients and them being a good fit for you, how do you guide them towards better support? For example, if we look at someone in a leadership position, and they may be a little bit, they need alignment, how do you bring them around and get them to become a more effective leader or a more effective communicator or decision maker?
That is a great question. So the first step, I'm a big fan of you can name it, you can tame it.
Amen. Yes.
And if we don't know, we have blind spots, we can't make any changes, right?
Correct.
So a needs assessment is pivotal, and it's the first step. And I always say we are as unique as our fingerprint, right? Nobody else has our fingerprint.
Exactly.
Leadership might look different. And it does look different for yourself, Paul, for myself, for our team, for the listeners. It's all unique and varied. So where I like to start is a needs assessment to evaluate where are your pain points, what are your biggest pain points, and where do we need to start? So let's name 3 that you want to start with. And then goal setting is imperative. Because we can't change it. We have to be able to measure it. We have to see the progress. We have to define it. So then we set the goals, and then we will dig in specifically for what their needs are. And I think this is important for anybody that's working with executives, business owners, because we are all so very unique.
Absolutely.
And it depends on, yes, and it depends if they're a solo business owner, if they have a team of 10, they have a team of 100, like it's all really varied. So do they know their team? Do they need some, like a DISC assessment to understand themselves? Do they need a DISC assessment to understand their team? Things like that we can dig into. And then measuring along the way, when they're reaching their goals, because all of that matters as well. So it's really a unique model based upon what they need, but we define it as leadership, communication, emotional regulation, work-life integration. You know, there's many things that go into being a leader. We need to begin leading ourselves. How are you leading yourself first?
Exactly.
So all those are pivotal buzzwords, but I like to think of every business owner as unique as our fingerprint, and then we custom based upon their needs.
That is so true. That is so true. And looking at the emotional intelligence, the empathy, there are just so many different areas. But as you stated, all leaders are different because they've received, they have different experiences, levels of leadership development training, leadership experience. There are just so many different aspects. It makes that individual unique. But that one individual that you're targeting in that executive coaching, they're going to have to be able to help those who work for them also become better leaders as well, because that gives them a competitive advantage, increases productivity, etc.
Yes. And also understand it is a skill set that you're missing.
Sure.
Is it training that you're missing? Does your staff need more training in a certain area? Do they need more skill sets? Those things are also very important in evaluating.
Absolutely. Getting that professional development so they can retain their top talent and continue to generate that revenue. You can't operate without increasing that revenue for sure.
That's right.
So when we look at your transformation from the previous work that you've done until you came through the recent executive coaching, what did you find it's different from the standpoint of when you first started coaching until now as an executive coach? What was that transition or shift for you? What was that like for you?
It was a real internal shift. And to me, I was very open and I felt like I needed to go to the next level. And I mean, next level with business owners. I loved and I still love working with women. That I'm a woman and I really love the healing process and healing journey that we have gone through together. But I just really felt at this point in my life, I was ready to go to another level. And if listeners understand that or have been through that, they probably know how that feels. Like hungry. I think there's another level for me. Let me look at that.
Yes.
And the way that I did that was the way that I entered the life coaching space. Life coaching space was, let's get some certifications under my belt. Let's take some courses, even though I had a counseling background, very different. So I wanted to get some courses and some certifications, which I did. But then when I was looking at executive coaching, I knew it was going to be another level as well. So I embarked upon certification through IAP College Career, and it was a great course, and I got certified. So for me, it was a knowing of and a yearning for what's next.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. You continue to grow. And when you grow, you can help your clients to grow as well. Yes. Because in that position as a speaker or coach or consultant, one has to be 1 to 2 levels above the audience in which they are, in fact, working with. And so that's very important because they're looking for that uniqueness from you to give them advice, give them suggestions and recommendations to help make their organizations better or as individuals as well. So that's outstanding. So looking forward, Julie, what do you envision for yourself, let's say in the next 6 to 12 months, what you plan on doing in your community as a part of being an executive coach and working with Crystel Clear Business Strategies?
Well, something very exciting that's kind of just coming hot off the press, which I do have permission to talk about, is she's creating a C-suite program for C-suite executives. And I am so on fire to be in a part of that from an executive coaching standpoint, because CEOs, CFOs, they need a space where they can be together, talk about things that are going to elevate them, elevate their mind, elevate their business that they can't necessarily do in the confines of their own business. Yes. So I'm super excited to be a part of the C-suite that is coming in September. Got a rollout date and everything.
Wonderful.
And yes. And I just am at a point where I really want to empower high-performing business owners to break through the internal barriers that are holding them back. I've lived it. I understand it. And I really want to make a difference there. And just a quick story, Paul.
Sure, absolutely.
You probably haven't heard this story yet, but true transparency, I have a lot of them. I once sold 50 Tower Gardens to Prince William County School District. You're in the area, you know Prince William County.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And it's through my nutrition program, and it took a year, and I went all in. I was with them for a year, and I had a call. I was in Florida, vacation with my family, and the woman, the representative, was almost screaming on the phone. And I won't scream because we're live, but she was like, Julie, you're not going to believe it. I ordered 50 Tower Gardens, and I'm just like dropping the phone. And I knew it was a colossal achievement.
Sure.
And she said, your commission will be about, give or take, I'm guessing around $9,000 for 1 month.
Right.
I was mind blown. Newly into the nutrition business. I was a social worker at heart. I'm like, I don't even know what just happened, right? But here's the thing, Paul. My mind, there were a million other school districts that I could have anchored that in, right? Resiliency and carried on. I didn't do it. You know why I didn't do it?
Why?
Because in my mind, there was a saber-toothed tiger in front of me, and I couldn't cold call, and I couldn't do it, and they wouldn't accept me, and on and on and on. My mindset went. I was sitting with a golden ticket in my hand, but I held myself back because I had internal barriers that I didn't even recognize. Okay. This was quite a few years back, maybe 10 years back.
Uh-huh.
So having pushed through the self-doubt, being aligned now with who I really am, I am committed to bring that to the coaching space and the community in which I live in.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. But, with everything, there is that lesson. And when we look at it in hindsight, it was the right decision.
It was, because I'm meant for this
Yeah.
space. But it's a funny story now because that tiger was bigger than life itself.
Exactly. I know what you mean. I've been there.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic, fantastic. So, what is one of the things that you would like to share, Julie, for our listeners? Let's focus on the C-suite as an example for people who are not quite where they should be, but they know that they can do better to become a better leader. What words of encouragement do you have to the potential C-suite leaders that are out there who want to become even better leader, or what I call a leader of influence? What can you encourage them in terms of your programs that are coming up in September?
So my philosophy is pretty simple, Paul.
Uh-huh.
Our biggest asset is our own ROI, our own internal investment.
Yes.
That is our rate of return. When we invest in ourselves, we have the biggest rate of return. Because what happens is that's the thing that often gets pushed aside, right? Until burnout, teams are falling apart, mental fatigue, decision-making trouble. We're just fatigued and exhausted, and we may not even know why.
Exactly. And
So,
burnout is a big thing right now.
yes.
Yeah.
So invest in yourself, your own ROI for personal growth, and watch the magic happen where you build and scale, and you can have a team that's unstoppable because you have invested in yourself and you in turn invest in them. That's what it's all about.
Oh, definitely. Those are just great words of encouragement, giving people the hope that they need. Everybody needs hope at some time or another. And for people who are in a position with a title leading other people, they need it more than anyone else, because oftentimes we know in a leadership position, it's lonely at the top.
100%.
Lonely at the top. And we have to be positioned for those people who are transitioning to upward from management into leadership. It's really tough. And it's great to hear the words that you shared today. So what I want to say is it's been deeply inspiring hearing you share your journey, and then where you were to where you are now as an executive coach and working with the amazing organization, Crystel Clear Business Strategies. And I know that you're going to go forward and you're going to over deliver for the clients, especially with your C-suite program. And I really want to thank you for that. And again, I want people to understand our guest today is none other than Julie Duncan. There you go, Crystel Clear Business Strategies. And episode 304, we want you to all go out and listen to this. You can listen on to wherever you get your podcast, but you can definitely listen to it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and wherever you get your podcasts. And we're very thankful to have Julie here today, and she's doing some dynamic things. And Julie, I want to give you the last word here, what you would like to say as we about to depart.
Invest in yourself.
Yes.
It's the biggest investment you can ever make.
Ah, fantastic. You heard it here first from Julie Duncan, an executive coach extraordinaire, and we thank you for your time. And my time is up, and I thank you for yours. And again, this is episode 304. Get out there, rate and review Julie's episode. Give it a 5-star rating. Give it a 6 if you wanted to, but it just goes to 5. But we really appreciate that, and we really appreciate having Julie here today. Again, Julie and I are co-authors of the book, The Prescription for Career Success. Go out and get this book and see what she has to say and see what I have to say as well. But we're very thankful, and we'll see you on the next episode of Wealth Academy Podcast. Thank you all so much, and have a wonderful day. And remember, I just want to put this in here for Julie. Mondays are good days.
Thank you, Paul.
All right. Thank you so much, Julie, and have a great day.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
You as well.